How often have you struggled to tighten or loosen a bolt or nut, but a normal wrench just didn't have enough leverage to do the job? And you've seen wrench extenders advertised online, but you're thinking, how hard can it really be to make one of these things? Well, today I'm going to find that out. Join me. Well, the design is pretty simple, like you've seen on these things probably. What I've taken here is a bit of flat bar. It's fairly thick. This is probably about between 4 and 5 millimeters thick. It's quite a long one. I'll cut the length according to the size that I decide afterwards. The two hooks on this thing is basically a piece of angle iron that I've just cut two pieces out of like this, and I have cleaned the edges so that they are weldable. The same on the flat bar. I've also cleaned the two places where I want to attach these. And now the basic idea is then to take these two hooks like this. The one is going to be welded onto that side over there, and the other one is going to be welded over here. Now, the basic idea then is if you take a wrench like this, you'll be able to slip the wrench in like that. Obviously, these will be attached. And then with the leverage of the bar, you'll be able to put a lot more force on your wrench when you are using it. The first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach these to the flat bar. Now, what I thought in order to keep them in place nice and evenly is I'm going to take the pieces of angle iron like this. I'm going to take a fairly thick nut that's about the same depth as the piece of angle iron. I'm then going to put it in place on the flat bar like this, so that it's in the spot where I want to weld it. And then I'm basically going to take a G-clamp like this and basically just clamp that in place and then weld the outside. Once the outside is welded, I'll then remove the G-clamp and I'll then just continue to weld it on the inside as well, so that it's nice and secure on both sides. And obviously once the one is attached to the end, I'm just going to do exactly the same to the other one on that side. So let me get welding. Right, so here it is attached into my vise. Going to attach my magnet clamp there. So let's see how this goes. Well, that looks like it went fairly well. It looks like it was fairly successful. Let's chip off the welding flux there. That does not look bad at all. Give it a quick brush. And it looks like it took pretty well. Now, on the end here, it might just need a bit more of a double seam welding, but it did grab on pretty well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it around, take out the nut that I've put in between, and then I'm going to weld it on the inside as well as around the edges. And once that one is done, then we'll just continue to the other side as well. If you do want to have a look at all the other tools that I've made, like the magnet clamp here, as well as my chipping hammer and so on, the one that I've used to chip off the flux and so on, I'll put a link to all those videos in the description below. Okay, so now for the other side. Okay, well, there we've go. There the welds are done. They're pretty sturdy. I did not do the most professional welding job, but I did check them afterwards, and they are quite steady, and they can hold quite a substantial amount of force or weight. Now, the main idea, what this was built for, is to take a wrench like this and being able to interlock it into place like that, so that if you pick it up and you want to loosen a nut, you can simply um, pull on the lever at the back, and it gives you a lot more force to loosen a stuck bolt. Now, if you want to tighten something as well, for the people that might have wondered, you can simply take off this lever, turn it around, and put it on the other side, and it will then be able to tighten a bolt with more force than you would be able to obtain to get from the wrench itself. Now, the main reason for this is to avoid what myself and a lot of people obviously often do, is to interhook another wrench into the one you're using like this, which could stretch the beak of your wrench a bit, and it could damage the other one that you're using as well, the ring set. So we want to try and avoid that, and this is the main purpose of this wrench extender that I've made here. Now, the only thing that's left to do is for me to shorten the handle a bit, because this is a bit on the long side. You might not be able to see it properly on the video, but this is quite a long one at the moment, so I'm only going to shorten it. I did want to double thick or make the handle a lot thicker, but the weight of this is a bit too much, so I'm only going to cut it off. And it is quite a thick piece of metal, so it does grip quite comfortably. And thereafter, I'm only going to round over a couple of the edges so it doesn't look too sharp and can't hurt or sting you. And I'm going to give it a coat of black paint. And that is basically the idea of this. So if you did like the video, be sure to comment in the section below, comment section, to say what you think of this project. Like the video if you do find value in it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. So until next time, thank you very much, guys.